Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's Monday night. That means it's time for another edition of SOMSpotlight presented by Sun Parlor Trailers. My name is Craig Smolders, joined as always by Rob Young. Good evening, Rob. How are you tonight?
Great, Craig. And how are you?
I am wonderful. We had a good night of racing on Saturday night. Congratulations to all our feature winners. It was a pretty good night. Some good races. The Thunderstock races. The top four were no Dale race. That was pretty good to see. Seth Lemieux was going to finish third, but Jake Hooker had to come and spoil the party. But other than that, it was a really good night of racing. What did you think of that, Rob?
Yeah, I'll tell you, Seth has really come along. Honestly, didn't expect to see him outrun Page, but yeah, he had a real good night. If it wasn't for Jake coming on there in the last lap or two, yeah, he'd have finished in the top three and been right there for the interview on the podium. So yeah, he's really impressing me. So he's a good kid.
Yep, for sure. He's doing really well. I don't know how good of an interview he would be because he's pretty quiet, but I'm sure at some point this season we're definitely going to find out. We just don't know which position he's going to finish in, but he'll definitely finish up there somewhere where he'll be getting an interview, so he better hone his interview skills here before we get to that point. This Saturday night, we are going to be having the Ontario Sportsman Series. That's an all-asphalt series. They're going to be coming down and running on the dirt track for the first time. They're actually they're running twice with us this year. They're running this Saturday, and then they're running, I believe it's the 17th of September, somewhere around there. But that's going to be their championship night. But this Saturday, it's going to be qualifying, and then they're going to run a 50-lap feature. So we're looking forward to that. That's going to be a lot of fun. And we got one of their drivers joining us tonight, Mike Hryniuk Jr. We're going to get him on here in a minute. We're going to talk to him. But give us a little preview of what you think the Ontario Sportsman Series is going to do for us, Rob. What do you think we're expecting to see?
Well, I think they'll be fine at it. They're going to be the last feature of the evening. Their format is a little different. They qualify, and then they set the field based on their qualifying. So they don't run through heats or anything like that. They also have spotters. They have two-way radio communication, which is something we don't have. We actually have a rule against it, but in their division, they use it, and I think it's going to be very helpful for the drivers because a lot of them have never been on dirt before. So to have somebody else in your ear, kind of giving you some direction, is going to be a great idea. So I think it's going to be a great show.
Yep, I agree. I'm really looking forward to it. It's this was probably, once I took the promoter position, this was one of the first things I went after because I really wanted to see. It was all the hype from Bristol and all the other dirt track NASCAR stuff that was going on. So we wanted to jump on the bandwagon for sure. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So we'll get Mike Hryniuk Jr. in here, and we'll have a little chat with him, and he's going to give us a little heads up on what we should see this Saturday. Come on in here, Mike.
Hey guys.
Mike, how are you tonight?
I'm doing good. How are you guys doing?
Oh, I am wonderful. It's a little hot outside, but hot is okay because it means it's racing season. As long as it's not snowing, we're all good to go. So how's things with you? What's going on at the shop? What's going on with the racing program? How's everything with you?
No, everything's going good. We're actually at the shop right now, getting our tires switched over, putting dirt tires on, getting our setups dialed in, getting ready for this weekend. But no, we're good. Our race program's going strong right now. We're pretty successful so far in the 2022 season. So hopefully we can keep going this way. Hopefully we can come out this weekend nice and clean. Well, it'll be dirty, but cars in one piece. So I'm excited though.
Awesome. Have you ever ran on dirt before or been to a dirt track or anything?
I've been to dirt track, been to New Smyrna. I've been to Southern Ontario. Closest thing I've came to dirt is riding my four-wheeler in my backyard when I was a kid. Had a little circle track set up. That's about it, though.
Well, it's going to be a little bit different than that. Rob, do you have anything you want to open up with before we get going here?
Well, Mike's dad, Mike Sr., had some experience in the dirt, and so he can fill Mike in on the differences. But and that is, you got to run a little higher. Most of these guys on the dirt are probably going to have anywhere from 5 to 6 inches of ride height in the front, and maybe up to 7 in the back. But they usually run 2.5, 3 inches Mike can fill us in on that. But so that's one difference. And then the gear, they were asking about what gear they should run, and pretty sure most of them are going to run around a 6.0. They run a 4 9-inch rear end, maybe a little bit, maybe down the high 5, something like that. And they've got a special tire that they are using. It's American Racer, the treaded tire. The other thing is guys are asking about spring rates, but those are the three questions I've been asked, and Mike's going to fill us in on a lot of those details. So I'll turn it over to him. I don't want to steal the show from him.
No, yeah, we're definitely changing our cars a little bit. Our ride height rules, we have to be at 4 inches for our series on a regular race night. We're definitely raising them up. They'll probably be give or take around 6 inches, I believe. And then that's for the tires. Obviously, yeah, we're on a tread tire now. Usually we're on slicks. So that's going to be different. And I actually was just touching these tires and they're soft. We are not used to that. It's definitely going to be different. We're going to be running stiffer springs up front, soft in the rear. Obviously, guys are going to do different things they've heard. People have been talking to other people, right? But honestly, we're trying to fill in everybody. We want everybody to be competitive and everybody have the same shot to be in victory lane at the end of the night. So we're kind of filling everybody's ear with what we're hearing, trying to help everybody out. But yeah, it's going to be different. We don't want the car hanging out too much, but obviously it's going to be hanging out. I heard different stuff about running the groove, running the dark spot, running the light spot, where you can find grip, where you can't. I know the dirt racers, they switch their line almost every lap. So that's going to be weird. We're used to hitting our marks. You look where you want to go, and that's where you hit your mark every single lap. It's to be as smooth as possible. So it's going to be very different. It's going to be different to adapt to, but I don't know. We're up for the challenge. So.
Excellent. Well, we'll get into the Ontario Sportsman Series a little bit later on, but first we want to get to know you a little bit more. So I guess the first thing I'd like to know is, was it always racing for you, or are you into other stick and ball sports as a young kid?
So I grew up at the racetrack pretty much my whole life. Obviously, my dad ran CASCAR, he ran all over. I was always there in a little playpen when I was a kid in the trailer. But my dad didn't want me to race. I wasn't a racer when I was a kid. I wasn't a race car driver. I ran a junior late model. Oh, I was probably 8 or 9, I believe. It was whose was it? It was Cody Wild's junior late model up in Grand Bend, and I ran that maybe 5 times. And then I was a hockey player. I played hockey my whole life. I played AAA. High school, I played football. I was a quarterback in my high school, so racing wasn't really in the forecast. And then I always wanted to, but I don't know, the option wasn't really there. My dad sold the stuff when my grandfather passed away, so we kind of got out of it. And then my dad met Dennis. He started back into it. And then pretty much after that, my dad got sick, and I said, hey, can I jump in the pro late model? And he's like, yeah. So then I practiced at Grand Bend once in it, and then I went out on Delaware with a pro late model for my first time ever in a big car. Pretty much learned clutching a car in a pro late model, essentially. And that's how it started.
Okay. Rob, do you have any questions about that?
Well, yeah, I remember hearing all about Mike and his hockey and football. But Mike does come from a long line of racers. And his dad was racer, as he said, in the CASCAR series. And I remember when his dad in a yellow and blue Ford body styled CASCAR. It was I think it was kind of a Ricky Rudd throwback, number 15. Yeah, and then of course Mike's grandfather John and grandmother Gertie ran a gas station in LaSalle, corner Ream and Malden, and that a lot of guys used to hang out there. And and not only that, his grandfather went to Daytona with the Banks family, with Johnny Banks, and there was a whole crew of guys down there. So then that's on his dad's side. And his mom is actually related to Trip Trepanier and Ron Trepanier, which were great racers in Southern Ontario area. So just to give everybody kind of a background on Mike, he comes from he's a 3rd generation racer. So when he says that that football and hockey were the thing, he was destined to be a race car driver. I mean, there's just too much racing blood running through his veins. So I'm sure he's going to do very well this weekend. and yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So, and again, not to steal the show, I better turn it back over to Craig. He's got an agenda to follow here.
Well, do you want to add anything to that, Mike, before we move on?
No, that's pretty much how it went. These guys are pulling plugs here on the tires, but no, yeah, it's racing's always been around. It's always been a big thing in our family, but yeah, I just kind of got thrown into it a little bit in a way, and kind of had to build off there and figure it out. I obviously had a lot of help behind me. You know, my dad's been spotting for me every year, so it helps having someone with a lot of knowledge behind me, and it's definitely helped me succeed a lot faster than say most guys, which is an advantage, and I don't take it for granted at all. But it's definitely helped me a lot so far in my career.
Awesome. So I know we have a picture of you racing the junior. Late model, yeah, at Grand Bend. Sorry about that. I know we have a picture here of you racing there, but what was that experience like? Because you know you weren't supposed to be a racer, and then you know what? I'm gonna try it anyway. What was that experience like? And I guess I'm kind of wondering what kind of drew you to finally want to really do it, because I would imagine your dad was whispering in one ear, no, I don't really want you to, and you're like, yeah, but I want to try it, and you went out there and gave it a shot. But talk about that experience a little bit.
Funny story, actually. That picture was, so that's not the actual car I drove the handful of times. That was so my uncle Brad who helped build Grand Bend, the Grand Bend racetrack. That was one of his cars he had in the shop, and that was the first time ever in any sort of race car on a track. And my dad's actually in the 33 truck, which was Brad's son, and he thought I was going too slow, so he jumped in the truck and came out and was actually pushing me around the track, and I was livid. I was so mad at him because I was just cruising around. I didn't know what I was doing. I was just young, and he actually pushed me around, and I got out, and I was so mad at him. I didn't talk to him. So that's actually a little funny story. But what drew me to it, honestly, I've always been a car guy. Obviously, grew up around racing. I've always wanted to try it. Like I said, just the opportunity wasn't there. So when my dad got sick, we had the pro late model that was just sitting there, and I kind of just threw it at him that I wanted to jump in it, and I didn't think he would ever say yeah. So yeah, there's a picture right there. Yeah. So I didn't really think he'd ever say yeah, but he did. So he dragged it up to Grand Bend, and I practiced out in Grand Bend for, I don't know, maybe 30 laps. I was in second gear because it's such a small track. And then went out to Delaware that weekend, and pretty much that was my first time in a pro late model. And I actually have a really funny story with that pro late model if you guys want to hear it.
Yeah, give her.
So I'm kind of calling myself out, but so I went out for practice at Delaware. Again, my first time in a pro late model. And there's two shifters in it. So your first shifter, you got first, neutral, reverse. Second shifter's second, neutral, third. So I went on the track, and there's some fast guys racing. You can actually ask Jay Dewar about this. He races at Delaware. I spun out coming out of 4, and my nose was just facing the wall. So I sat there, and I fired the car back up, and I looked down at the shifter, and I'm like, I have no clue where reverse is. And the track guys came over and they're like, hey, is everything okay? And I'm like, yeah, I just don't know where reverse is. And the guy like gave me a weird eye, and he's like, what? And I was like, I don't know where reverse is. And he goes, you're driving the pro late model, you don't know where reverse is? So my dad's yelling at me through my headset, and he's like, go back up, you're wasting practice and all this. So I kind of just guessed, pulled one of them, and it ended up being reverse, thank God. And Jay Dewar came up to me shortly after practice because I wasted the entire practice, and he kind of made a little comment about wasting the whole practice on me sitting there trying to figure out where reverse was.
You're not alone, Mike. Don't worry. Everybody has to learn. I'll tell you, the tricky one is a lot of the Burt transmissions where you actually got to push the clutch in for first and reverse, and then you let the clutch up and off the throttle and pull the lever back into high gear. So yeah, it gets you'll think, man, that was easy, the 3-speed transmission.
Yeah, I'll never forget where reverse is now. I'll tell you that. I'll never forget.
You can constantly hear your dad in your ear, eh?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. For probably, honestly, I bet you I sat there for 5 minutes, like for sure.
Jeez. So how did you come up with the number 15?
Well, when I played hockey, that's been my number since I started playing hockey. I got it from my dad. It was his number playing hockey, and then obviously it was his first race car at Checker Flag. That was his number, was 15. So that's kind of how I went about it. And then once I started racing, I was like, I knew right away that my number was going to be 15. There's no way around it. And then if 15 was taken, I probably would have went 75, because then that's what my dad's number was when he had the STP deal. But yeah, my number's always been 15.
Awesome. Rob, do you have any questions about any of that?
No, I just he's got a lot to say. So, and I don't want to get off the agenda here. So we'll let you guys keep going. Go ahead, Craig.
Yeah, so I guess in your rookie season, how'd you make out in your rookie season? I mean, that's a whole new experience going out there in the big track and full power. And how'd that all work out for you?
We did good. I got rookie of the year in my rookie season in the Ontario Sportsman Series. It was a big learning curve. It was more about just getting laps, getting as much seat time as I can. I went to the track every week, just trying to race the track. It came along. By the end of the year, I was running pretty good mid-pack car. I think we finished, I want to say, around 6th or 7th in points. So it was definitely a successful year. But it was more just learn the track, bring the car home one piece, go back, do it again. Seat time was the most important thing for sure. So yeah, it was good. We were happy, and then obviously we've grown from there, and we're moving forward pretty quickly.
Awesome. Rob, do you have any questions about that?
Well, the cool thing about the Ontario Sportsman Series is they run they'll usually run 8 or 10 races a year. I'm not sure exactly, and they run them on 4, 5, 6 different racetracks: Sauble, Flamborough, Delaware, and here at Southern Ontario Motor Speedway. And Mike gets a chance to try all different kinds of tracks. It's a great thing. It's a really a cool traveling series. So it's not just the same thing every week. It's really cool. So I'll let him carry on.
No, you're out. Oh, go ahead.
All right. So you get through your rookie season. You kind of learn as you're going along, and then I guess that was 2017. That was your rookie season in that series.
Yeah, 2017 or 18. I think it was 17.
Okay, so so then 2018 rolls around, you're all ready to go. Once you were kind of ready to go for your second season, how'd you make out? Were you ready to go? Were you running up front, or how did all that go for you?
Yeah, no, second season, I definitely came out with a lot more confidence. Obviously, still learning. But again, seat time was the biggest thing. But no, I was a little more competitive. I was running in the top 5. There's a lot of fast guys running with us. There was like Kevin Gallant, Connor James. There's lots of fast guys running with us. So there's definitely a lot of guys to look up to and learn off of. But I was really into gaining respect as well. Like me and myself and Chad McGlynn, we still race, whatever. We'll be there this Saturday. And 90% of the time, we will race side by side for however many laps. We won't touch each other. And that's kind of how I wanted to go about my racing career, I guess, was gaining a lot of respect from other drivers. So that was a lot of big focus too. But no, we were competitive. I think I had a couple third place, a second place, I believe. The win wasn't there yet. It was still too early, but we definitely made a lot of progress.
What's a good field of cars for you guys? What do you guys usually show up with at every track?
So before COVID, we were anywhere from 15 to 20, maybe just over 20. My first couple of years, and then obviously COVID kind of affected it. So last year we kind of had a rough season with car counts. So this year there's a new team, new people involved. Mauricio Cucci's doing amazing with bringing in sponsors, bringing in the paychecks for the end of the night for the guys. So now we're right around anywhere between 14, give or take. We're growing. We've gotten tons and tons of interest just so far from this year. For guys next year, there's already guys buying cars. There's already guys messaging my father about it, what kind of cars to get into, where to get them. So it's growing. It's kind of a rebuilding year right now, is where we're at. But I'm hoping next year we're going to have some pretty good car counts by the sounds of it.
Very good, very good. Since you mentioned it, during COVID, what kind of stuff did you do to kind of stay sharp? Because you guys weren't able to race anywhere, right? Like all the tracks were shut down. So what kind of stuff did you do to stay sharp, and what kind of stuff were you doing around the shop?
Honestly, we raced once during, I forget what year it was. I want to say 2020. We were out on the track once, and that was it. We really just kind of worked on the car. We ripped the car apart, went through everything, had a lot of time, obviously, to do that. But we still tried to stay up with our sponsors, work on our sponsors, and make sure that they know we're not forgetting about them and things like that, because they're a big part of our team. They're like family now. So that was a big part of it. I didn't really ever get into the iRacing stuff. I wanted to, but there's a big price tag on that stuff, and I never did get into it. But honestly, just I learned a lot, honestly, in the shop and that on the cars. I learned a lot more about setup and little things like that, where I could tell my team what to tweak on when the car's doing this and that. So I don't know. Everything happens for a reason. It probably helped a little bit, but coming back from COVID, we were rusty. I think everybody was a little bit rusty, but we battled through, and everybody had to deal with it. So it's not just me.
Yeah, for sure. Rob, do you have any questions about that?
Well, Mike was talking about gaining respect and racing against some of these veterans, but even in Mike's own team, they field four cars for the Ontario Sportsman Series, and that's Todd Shepard and Sean Mangin and Kevin Lay, and of course Mike himself. So right in his own garage, he's got some guys who really know their stuff. Todd was involved with trying to think of the team he was involved with in NASCAR, but anyway, he's got some really good guys to get some information from. Mention that Mike's uncle is Steve Robley, probably one of the greatest short track racers in this area. I'm not talking about Junior Hanley and Don Biederman's era, but I mean, to have that guy in your back pocket to ask questions about racing, man, you've got it all going on there, Mike. I'm a little envious of you, but I'm sure that you're cool. It's really neat. So anyway, I'll turn it back over to Craig.
Do you want to add anything to that, Mike, before we move on?
No, I agree. I'm definitely grateful to have the people I have behind me. It's great. And even the guys in our series, you can go to anybody, any one of them, ask them any questions. Our series is very family-like almost. Like everybody gets along. You can go to the veterans and ask questions. There's no hard feelings between any of the guys. So it's good.
Excellent. All right. So 2022, let's talk about your season so far, how it's been going, what you've been doing and not doing, and what's working well for you at all the tracks that you've been to so far this season.
Yeah, so first race got rained out at Varney, unfortunately. And then our second race at Flamborough, we ended up winning it. We won the feature, which was surreal. It was unbelievable. It was awesome. We worked real hard this offseason. We ripped the entire car apart. We got a new body on it. We got some new sponsors. So we came into 2022 with a lot of momentum. We were pretty pumped up. So to start off the season that way was amazing. And then after that, we headed to Sunset, which I'm a very big fan of that track. It's tough to get around. You have to be disciplined if you want to finish up front there. And we were off just a hair with our setup, and Todd Shepard was just he was fast, he was good, and I just couldn't keep up with him, and he took it home. But happy for my teammate, of course. He brought it home. We finished second, which can't complain. And then we went to Delaware, and Delaware was good. It's our home track, so I went there, and I really wanted to finish good. We had a lot of people come watch. Sponsors were there. I wanted to perform, and I think I led about half the race, and the car just started falling off with the new surface and that. We weren't quite prepared for what the car was going to do. And I finished second to Todd again, which, again, super happy for him. He did great. He was on rails that night. And then we just got back from Varney last weekend, and Varney's awesome. It's a bull ring. It's wild. People beat up their cars. Car come home in one piece, which we were super happy about. I ended up finishing third, so it increased my points lead quite a bit, which is good. We can kind of play smart now, not wreck nothing. I have a little cushion now that I can sit on and see how it pans out. But this year so far it's going good. I can't complain. I got a great group of guys behind us that bring me to track every week, and they're killing it in the shop. We're here working every day, so races are winning the garage.
Yeah, for sure. And congratulations on the feature win. That's always cool to see.
Thank you.
Rob, do you have any questions about any of that?
I just, I was thinking, I mentioned this to Mike earlier before we went on air, but When I first met Mike, he was delivering pizzas for Domino's in Kingsville, and I remember one of the few times that I did have my dirt late model at home in Kingsville, and he comes to deliver a pizza, and I had no idea. He's looking over my shoulder in the garage, and I'm thinking, he's a young guy, because a lot of young guys used to come around chasing my daughters, and I had to beat him off with a stick. But I figure he's looking over my shoulder at one of the girls or something, and no, he says, "Hey, what do you got in the garage?" And then he kind of introduced himself, and here his dad and Mike just had their shop around the corner. Like, I mean, it was probably only about a half a mile from where I lived, and that's where Mike and Denise still live. But it was pretty cool. You never know, eh? But it's we have a lot of history back from the checker flag days with Mike's dad and his grandfather, and I really cherish those times, and it's fun to see them back out there, and their kids are racing, and it's just really cool. So again, I'll turn it back over to Craig there.
Yeah, so I guess I was just we'd like to get to know you a little bit, not just about your racing, but we'd like to get to know you a little bit. So tell us a little bit about yourself. What your home life? Are you married? Do you have kids? What do you like to do for fun? That kind of stuff.
So I have a girlfriend. We've been dating for just over 3 years now. Her name is Riley. She's awesome. She's great. She supports me with my racing and all that. And then we have a puppy. We just got a puppy. His name's Louis. He's about 5.5 months. So we spend a lot of time with him. No, honestly, I work at Volmer. I'm a sheet metal worker, so I'm in the union there. Doing really good with that, and pretty much I hang out with my friends a lot. I play hockey in the winter, beer leagues and all that. And other than that, pretty much we're busy with the race car most of the nights. We're outside working on the cars in the shop and stuff like that. Other than that, we camp, do a lot of camping, outside all the time, boating, stuff like that. Trying to stay active and things like that, just staying busy, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. And you do you still follow hockey? Like, you into the NHL and the football and all that stuff?
Yep. Yeah, I definitely still follow hockey. We watched the cup finals actually in the shop here this year, which was a pretty good time. But I try and stay on track. Obviously, with work and the race car, which is huge part of my life, we're pretty busy. So trying to get some time to relax and do other things is nice.
Yeah, for sure. Rob, do you have any questions about any of that?
No, that's but I just, in case I forget, we want to mention that Mark Hall is a big part of your organization, and both Mike and Mark are quite involved with the Ontario Sportsman Series. Good direction. It's good, some good leadership there. So yeah, it's you guys really got a good thing going on there, and I know the series is coming along good. So again, I'll turn it back over to Craig.
All right, so now we can talk about the Ontario Sportsman Series a little bit, Mike. If a guy decides that this is something that he wants to do, what kind of stuff would he have to buy? What kind of equipment would he need and stuff like that? What kind of motor and all that good stuff? What would everybody need to know to run in this series?
So pretty much our cars are the old past cars I used to run whatever back in the day before it came the Pinty Series. You can run an old car, you can run newer star cars like the Pinty Series. My car is a 2001. It was Sean Dupee's old car, and it's still rocking and rolling pretty good. We run 604 crate motors right from GM. There's a couple of guys that do have the Ford built motors, but other than that, obviously need your car. Need a way to get it to the track. We're fortunate enough; we have a very nice shop that we work out of. We have my car and Sean's car there, and honestly, you need a lot of time. You definitely need a lot of time. Like I said, races are won in the garage. You got to show up with your stuff ready to go. But you got to have a team. You got to have a team behind you. You got to have a bunch of good guys that are willing to work with you. Other than that, of course, you need your stuff in your garage, in your shop, your tools, things like that. But yeah, that's pretty much all I can think of what you need.
All right, so just out of curiosity, dollar wise, not necessarily to be competitive, but just to kind of get on the track. What kind of figure would we be looking at?
So depending on what you're looking to do, honestly, I'd say our series is probably one of the cheapest series that you can run in. Per year, give or take, we have a tire rule, so you're actually only allowed 18 tires throughout the year. You get 6 in your first race, and then you're pretty much allowed 2 every race. And tires run you about, give or take, I don't even know what they're at right now, $160. But you can race a full year. If say you have your own car and your own setup and all that, you can race a full year between 10 to 20 grand and be fairly competitive. There's fast guys and there's guys that have nights. They're not nights that aren't their nights. And realistically, for that price, you can run competitively with obviously all the equipment and things like that. But for budget wise, between 10 to 20 grand, you can run like up front pretty much in our series for that price. Our cars are pretty evenly matched with all these short tracks. The big motor guys, you'll see them exceed a little more in at Delaware and bigger tracks like that. But for all the short tracks, like there's guys that have 602s in because their 604 blew up and they can't get one, and they'll be on your bumper at these short tracks because really the amount of horsepower you have doesn't really help because we run an 8-inch tire, so you don't get too much grip. So that's a big thing. We run 100 laps, so you gotta save your equipment. That's one of the biggest strategy marks in our series.
Okay, Rob, do you have any questions about that?
Yeah, and they run a Ford 9-inch rear end. So they have a number of different gear selections they can use. They run 5x5 hubs, and so it's not wide fiber aluminum wheels. It's not expensive stuff. Steel wheels, and as Mike says, 8 inches wide. And nowadays, to buy a decent 604 crate engine, it's about 10 grand.
Yeah.
And that's kind of, when you do that, the reliability is there. It's not like having a built motor, and that's by far enough horsepower. The other thing is that they run a lot of fiberglass bodies. They don't, you can't just bang them out like you do some of the aluminum stuff, but they're just and when he talks about being a cheap car, you can buy a roll-in chassis for about 5 grand and sometimes less, with everything in it. And as I said, then you got to put a motor. But they're very inexpensive cars for when it comes to racing. They're very inexpensive. But it's a really good division. And when I spoke about the age difference from some of these guys, from guys Mike's age to a famous racer, Bob Merrifield, ran that division for years, and he got sick here a year ago, but he was still racing in his 70s, for crying out loud. So there's a wide span of guys in this division, all different ages, lots of different experiences, and I think it's a really cool division. So anyway, I'll turn it back over to Craig.
You want to add anything to that, Mike?
No, he's absolutely right. That's one of the cool things is, like I said, with the veterans and all that. I had the chance to race with Bob too, and it was awesome because my dad always joked Bob was old to him when he started racing, and then I got to race with him, which was it was awesome. He'd still be racing right now if he didn't get sick. We miss him out there, but no, you're absolutely right. It's a great starter series to start racing in, and it's a even better series if you got lots of experience. It's inexpensive. The car, we put on one of the best shows, I think, in Ontario for racing. We'll run side by side for laps and laps. Like, we put on a good show. We're clean. We don't go out there to wreck cars because a lot of the guys are on budgets and we can't afford to wreck our car and bring it back next week, right? So it is a really good family oriented series.
Okay. One of our drivers, Steve Shaw, is asking if there's a ride height rule.
So for our series on normal race night for us, when we're not on the dirt, we have to run 4 inches at least. That's ours. So yeah, we do have a ride height rule. Now for the dirt, I don't believe there is one. Like I said, I think we're going to be give or take around 6 inches, I believe, if we can get that. But I don't think for the dirt we have a ride set rule in place.
Okay. So since you mentioned the dirt, this is an opportunity to plug your series for us coming to dirt. So talk about a little bit what we're going to expect this weekend. I know you guys have had a couple of drivers out there running some thunder stocks and running some practice laps on Friday nights, but tell us a little bit about what we can expect to see this coming Saturday when the Ontario Sportsman Series comes to town.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be cool. It's gonna be something different. We're hoping it goes very smoothly, of course. A lot of us have never raced on dirt like myself. A lot of these guys, it's all gonna be a first time thing for everyone. So I think everybody's gonna go out there with patience and try and relax. But you know, at the end of the day, everybody wants to win, and realistically, everybody kind of has the same shot right now. We're still waiting. There might be some big names that maybe racing this weekend. It's still up in the air, which would be cool. It's gonna bring some promotion to the track and our series. But other than that, I think it's gonna be tight racing. I think everybody's gonna be on top of each other. It's gonna be close. There might be a little bit of bump and banging. I hope not too much because I don't want to do body work. We're heading to Peterborough the week after. But I think it's going to be cool. I have a feeling it's going to get down to the nitty gritty at the end. And I think it's going to be a tight finish, honestly, if I'm going to call it right now. 50 laps is probably going to be a pretty long time on the dirt. I'm excited for it. I know a lot of the guys in the series, we were talking last race, everybody's excited. We're excited for the challenge. It's going to be awesome.
Excellent. That all sounds very good. Rob, do you have any questions about any of that?
Well, this will be the closest race you will have to home. You're only going to be maybe when I lived in Kingsville, it still took me that's going to go home. Sleep just places for
Actually, you broke up there. I missed the last part there.
Oh, I think.
Did we lose them?
Yeah, I guess we lost him. Yeah. You still there, Craig?
Yeah, I'm here. We can hear you now, Rob. He
right.
said he didn't catch the last part of your question there. He missed the part before the laugh you had a little there.
So you probably heard that this is your closest race to home. So you're only like an hour away.
Yeah.
Well, that'll be pretty cool.
Yeah, no, we're hoping to get some. Obviously, people want to come watch, family and friends and that, but sometimes with us traveling, our races are a little far. Other than Delaware, yeah, this is our closest one. So we're hoping to bring out some pretty good fans, and a lot of people are planning on coming by the sounds of it. So that's exciting. Hopefully my grandma can be out there and come out and watch. Hopefully it's not too hot for her. But no, we're excited. It's going to be, I think it's going to be a hoot.
Yep, for sure. And we're all looking forward to it. 50 laps of something pretty much completely unknown. It's going to be pretty exciting. And we're looking forward to you guys all coming down. I know, like I said, I know that you guys have had some drivers practicing out there, and that is there a lot of good information coming back from your drivers? Do you think you kind of got an idea what you're up against, or is it just no idea? I'm just gonna shoot for it.
Yeah, they've given us enough information. We've been talking to a lot of the dirt guys and guys with experience with these style cars on dirt. And so we've definitely got our earful of lots of information. We know some of the local guys that run there and know what the track does and stuff like that. So depending on, obviously, our cars are heavy, how it's going to react in that. But at the end of the day, realistically, we're going in there green because we don't know what the cars are going to do. We hear what most cars do and things like that. But at the end of the day, we don't know what our cars are going to do. So I think it's going to be a lot of driver that's going to have to kind of step it up and find the grip and things like that. Of course, you can listen to what everybody has to say and try and do what they do and take the advice that they give you. But realistically, once you get your helmet on, you're out on the track, you kind of gotta have that feel and figure it out yourself a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. And of course, you guys are this, like you said, this is coming new into this, and now you guys run Lexan windshield, so that's gonna throw another monkey wrench into the whole thing. Talk about how that might be.
Yeah, so we talked about switching the cages, and it's like, obviously a lot of these teams are on budgets and that, so we kind of wanted to avoid that route. So thankfully, you guys at at Southern Ontario were cool enough that it's by the sounds of it, you guys are going to try and make it as dry as possible for us. So hopefully it keeps down the amount of clay that's getting thrown at us. Honestly, it's a learning curve for everybody. It's either gonna go really well and succeed very well, or there's gonna be some things we have to adjust for our last race, which is it's kind of like a test, almost like a big test this weekend. By the sounds of it, we should be okay though with the Lexan. It's gonna get dusty. I know Kevin said to get a helmet blower and things like that and try and keep the dust out. But we're by the sounds of it, like I said, it should be okay. I guess honestly, it's more just show up and see what the track's like, and then go from there and see what happens.
Yeah, for sure. All right. So, do you have any sponsors or people you want to thank that help you out along the way?
Yeah, no, I got to thank my family, my mom, my dad, my girlfriend, of course, and then my entire team. They're here right now working on the car. This is the reason why we get to the track and why we were able to put it in victory lane this year. I got to thank them. I got to thank Allison Martell. She's our newest sponsor this year. She's amazing. Her and Mike, they're great people. Guaranteed Comfort, Reinhardt Auctions, Brimstone Games, Sean Danielle, they're amazing. Quick Wick, all my sponsors, everybody who pretty much helps us, all our fans, things like that. Hopefully we'll be able to see everybody this weekend. And yeah, just thanks to you guys as well for putting on the show and helping us get our cars on the dirt.
Absolutely. And we are definitely looking forward to it. Rob, do you have any more questions for Mike Hryniuk Jr. before we let him go here?
No, but we're going to run 50 laps for the Ontario Sportsman Series last, and we're trying to give them as smooth a track as possible, something that's a little drier, maybe more like what they're used to on the asphalt. As I said, they'll qualify first right after our opening ceremonies, and then they're going to go and work on their cars. We'll get our program going there, and then as I said, we'll have them last. So it's going to be pretty cool. Again, I'm really excited, and I know there's a lot of people. And that's kind of what I was getting at when with Mike being close to home. A lot of the fans, some of the fans used to hang out at Checker Flag. That might bring a lot of them out of the woodwork to come out and see these guys because they know the names, and so I'm hoping that we'll get. I'm sure the grandstands are going to be full, but we're going to get a mix of people who've never been to Southern Ontario Motor Speedway before, and I know that I spoke with Mike Senior, and he's been speaking with Steve Shaw Senior, who's probably one of the best guys to talk to when it comes to 3,000-pound cars and running on 8-inch wheels. Yeah, Steve has a leaf spring rear suspension in his car, but a lot of the gearing is going to be the same, and Steve's the greatest guy to talk to. So yeah, you're checking off all the boxes, Mike, and I think that you've done all your homework, and it's going to be a good show.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think it's going to be good, and I think it's going to be good for our series, and honestly, just racing down south here in general, I think it's going to be awesome.
Yep, for sure. Well, Mike, I don't have any more questions for you. I appreciate you taking the time to jump on here with us and help us out with the Ontario Sportsman Series. It was nice to talk to you, and can't wait to see you at the track on Saturday night. And I hope you guys put on a great show, and we wish you and all the drivers the best of luck. And we can't wait to see what you guys can do out there for 50 laps on Saturday night.
No, thanks, guys. I appreciate you guys having me, and yeah, I guess I'll see you guys Saturday.
Absolutely. Enjoy the rest of your night.
All right,
Okay, Mike. Good luck.
Thank you.
Well, Rob, there we go. We know a little bit more about the Ontario Sportsman Series. We know a little bit more about Mike Hryniuk Jr. What'd you think of that?
Well, as I said, he comes from a long line of racers. Even he mentioned his grandma, Gertie Hryniuk. She's always part of it. I remember the last three parties that they had. Gert was there selling tickets, and yeah, she's a big part of their team. So it's a whole family. The family's all involved, right from like everybody, and the people that he is related to, like as I said, Steve Robley and his dad, and having Todd Shepard. It was the Numachek NASCAR team that Todd worked for. to have those people with all that asphalt experience, just right working that you're working with, I mean, that is so awesome. And I know Sean Mangan raced in Cascar before, and he's back racing in the Ontario Sportsman Series, along with Kevin Lay. These guys they've got a just as I said, they have four teams, and there's usually we're going to say there's 16. They got 25% of the cars in one garage. Well, just about in one team. Okay. And that's your odds are pretty good of finishing somewhere in the top 5 there, at least one of your cars, right? So that's really cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. We got a little bit more work to do to try and make sure everything goes smooth for them, and that's what we want to do. It not only like the fans are going to see a great show, but we got a lot of work to do, and we had we kind of had some technical difficulties last week, and we're going to try and sort all that out. And it's a lot of work.
Yep, for sure. But back to the racing, you have some asphalt experience, you have some dirt experience. How do you what do you think we're going to see this weekend?
Well, as I said, we talked about the concerns of running a windshield, and if they take the windshields out, then they've got to put some protection for the driver. And so that they got the windshield, a full face helmet, and there's a lot of dust. So that's going to be something that they're going to have to deal with that they've never had to deal with before. It's when you're racing the asphalt, it's pretty clean. So this is a whole new dynamic that's been thrown at these guys. It's not just racing on the dirt. There's a whole bunch more stuff. Wait till they have to clean the cars out when they go home. If they thought, they don't usually, they just wash the outside. Now, wait till they get these cars home after a dusty night at Southern Ontario Motor Speedway. Yeah, that's going to be a big thing for them. But anyway, yeah. I'm sure they're up to it.
Yeah,
they're all young guys.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, I'm definitely looking forward to it. This is something that I worked hard to put together, and then I had to keep working at it to make sure it was gonna, get on the schedule and work for everybody. So yeah, we got all this put together, and I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait. Like I said, it's kind of the fad right now with all the NASCAR and the Bristol and all the other dirt track stuff they're doing down there and the truck races and everything. So we want to get on board with this. We want to see how it's going to go, and I'm looking forward to it. I really think it's going to be a great show. So fans, make sure you're coming out Saturday night. This Saturday night is going to be qualifying for the Ontario Sportsman Series, and then they're going to go out there and give their best shot for 50 laps, and hopefully they all bring her home in one piece. And that's the most important thing. We want a good show, but we don't want to be wrecking equipment or anything like that and leave a bad taste in anybody's mouth. So we want this to go well, because then the championship night in September, they're going to be running 75 laps. So it's between 50 laps and 75 laps. That's a huge difference. So hopefully they get some good stuff going on this Saturday, and then they can come back for their 75 lap, which, by the way, is their championship night. So that's going to be I'm excited. I'm really excited about this, and I can't wait for it to happen.
Yeah, and there's something else too. I know of a number of those pro late model stock cars, whether they're full perimeter cars, clip cars, whatever. There's a lot of cars that fit their rule package. Older asphalt cars that are, especially when Checker Flag closed up, a lot of those guys stuck them in a garage, and those chassis could still be brought out. And you might see some guys who come out and say, hey, you know what? If I go get myself a 604 crate engine, I can run with these guys, and I'd really like to be in this series. And it's cool to run in the dirt. And so, this might start something, or you may have started something, Craig. It may be 2 races this year, but we may see 4 races next year. You never know. I think it's going to go over well. So, and that the idea of bringing guys out of the woodwork who are sitting at home and maybe never thought about going to a dirt track race, but hey, the asphalt guys are coming to the dirt. We got to go down there, because I know some of those guys. I raced with his dad. I know I did. So I'm as excited as somebody sitting there maybe watching this right now, thinking, I got to go see that.
Yep. I am definitely looking forward to it. Drivers, if you want to jump on here, just like Mike Hryniuk Jr. did, and the 25 previous drivers, if you want to jump on here, make sure you reach out to myself or Angela Young Bonner, and we will get you all set up. If you want to watch any of the 26 interviews that we've had, make sure you check out our YouTube channel. That's SOMSpotlight on YouTube. So check that out. All the interviews are there. If you want to see what's going on at the Speedway, get involved in giveaways and all that good stuff, information, schedule, whatever. Make sure you go on to Southern Ontario Motor Speedway Fan Zone Facebook group and the Southern Ontario Motor Speedway Facebook page. That's where all the information is. Rob, do you have anything you want to add before we go off here?
Nope. Other than I want to take full responsibility for not having the lights working on the front straightaway last Saturday night. I will have that problem rectified this weekend.
All right, that sounds good. Thank you very much, Rob, for joining us. Can't wait to see you next week. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in each and every Monday night. This has been SOMSpotlight presented by Sun Parlor Trailers. That's Rob Young. My name is Craig Smolders. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Goodbye.
Good night, everybody.